Hello everybody, thank you very much for watching. My name is Don. I want to say thank you very much for all the new subscribers, brothers and sisters that come to my channel. Thanks to my brother Mike, you know him as Mike444, that kindly did a link to my channel from his. See, I see God at work, working through my brother to lead some of you here. Well, I want to do an interesting video because I just recently found out an interesting prophecy that from the lost book of Enoch. I understand, it's not part of the Bible, but Enoch was mentioned by Jude. I'll give you some a little example of that. So I said this Enoch prophecy was about 70 shepherds. Very interesting. I just want to read you a bit about background about Enoch. Genesis 5:21. And Enoch lived on. This is it. And verse 18. And Jared lived on for 162 years. Then he became father to Enoch. And after his father in Enoch, Jared continued to live 800 years. Meanwhile, he became father to sons and daughters. So all the days of Jared amounted to 962 years, and he died. And Enoch lived on for 65 years. Then he became the father of Methuselah. And after this, his fathering Methuselah, Enoch went on walking with the true God 300 years. Meanwhile, he became father to sons and daughters. So all the days of Enoch amounted to 365 years. And Enoch kept walking with the true God. Then he was no more, for God took him. Basically, he was one of two, patriarchs that God took away. He never died. And why should we trust Enoch? Because even though it was a lost book, I'm quoting from Jude, and Jude actually alludes to Enoch. In Jude 14, yes, the seventh one in line from Adam, Enoch, prophesied also regarding them when he said, look, God, Yahweh, came with his holy myriads to execute judgment against all, and to convict all the ungodly concerning all their ungodly deeds that they did in an ungodly way, and concerning all the shocking things that the ungodly sinners spoke against him. So yeah, that Jude was quoting about Enoch, as he says, Enoch prophesied. So we can trust Enoch, and this is very important because it says here in one from the Christian Forum, and the title is Will Enoch's prophecy of the 70 shepherds of Israel culminate with Netanyahu? I want to say thanks to Brother Vincent Vinand that that actually briefly mentioned about this when I saw his channel. So this is here. Will Enoch's prophecy of the 70 shepherds of Israel culminate in Benjamin Netanyahu, which is the current one, before judgment comes? It says here, Enoch's prophecy of 70 shepherds of Israel. This is here, in the vision, Enoch, who lived 669 years before the Noah's flood, saw that there would be 70 shepherds of Israel. And he called these shepherds 70 shepherds, and cast those sheep to them they might pasture them. And this is what, so basically Enoch was saying there would be 70 shepherds of Israel. This is what he said in 1 Enoch 89, chapter 89, 59 to 51, 61. And he called 70 shepherds, and cast those sheep to them, that they might pasture them. And he spoke to the shepherds and their companions, let each individual of you pasture the sheep henceforward, and everything that I shall command you that you do ye, and I will deliver them over unto you duly numbered, and tell you which of them are to be destroyed, and them destroy ye. And he gave them over unto them those sheep. So Enoch prophesied there would be 70 shepherds or rulers over Israel. As is it, he saw 70 shepherds of Israel, and he called them 70 shepherds, and cast those sheep to them that might pasture them. He saw the first group of 35 shepherds as unique from the other ones to come, which represent he represented the first 35 bad kings of Israel. So basically what he's saying, he saw the first group of 35 shepherds, which would represent the first 35 bad kings of Israel and Judah of the sheepfolds. This is before 586 BC, when Jerusalem was destroyed on the 9th of Av, and then carried away in captivity by the Babylonians. And he said, I saw till that in this manner 35 shepherds, and undertook the pasture of the sheep. It says here, these 70 symbolic shepherds which watch over the flock of the sheep, that figuratively are God's chosen people. And it says the next chapter tells us that Enoch saw the first group of 35 shepherds as unique from the other shepherds to come. And it says here in Enoch 1:90 verse 1 to 2, and I saw till that in this manner 35 shepherds undertook the pasturing of the sheep, and they severally completed their period as did the first, and others received them into their hands to pasture them for their period, each shepherd in his own period. These first 35 shepherds, he goes on to say, correspond to 35 kings of Israel, and Judah, that ruled before the Babylonian king Nebuchadnezzar destroyed the kingdom of Judah 579 BC. So these 35 represent only Israeli kings that, before the destruction of Israel to the Babylonians. And it goes on to say, and after this, right, so Enoch was talking about 35 Israelite kings that ruled Israel, mainly bad kings. For instance, I'll give you some examples. These 35. The first king was Saul, and he was bad. Then it was King David, he was good. Solomon, he was good at the start. Then Rehoboam was bad. Abijah was bad. Asa was good. Jehoshaphat was good. Jehoram was bad. Ahaziah was bad. Athaliah was bad. Joash was bad. And it goes on all the way down to Hosea, which is 35 kings. That's when he speaks of 35 kings, and mainly they're all Israelite kings before the destruction of Israel with the Babylonians, but mainly bad kings he was referring to. But after that, he goes on to say, After this, a series of foreign kings after the Babylonian conquest of Israel ruled over the promised land as shepherds. The following passages clarifies this time in history. The 70 shepherds Enoch saw were all descendants of Israel, though some of these Israelite shepherds had overlords over them, who are also called shepherds. So basically, 35 Israelite kings, mainly bad, but after the destruction of Israel by the Babylonians, there were 23 foreign kings. So altogether with 58. And this is what Enoch says about foreign overlord kings ruling over Israel. And the eyes of those sheep were blinded so that they saw not, and the eyes of their shepherds likewise. And they, the shepherds of the sheep, delivered them in large numbers to their shepherds, that is, the overlords of the shepherds, for destruction. And they trampled the sheep with their feet and devoured them. That was 1 Enoch 89, verses 74 to 75. So Enoch sees 23 foreign kings ruling over Israel until the destruction of Jerusalem in 70 AD. Adding their number up to, it comes as here to the 35 who came before. Is a total of 58 kings were foreseen as ruling ancient Israel. And us, chapter 90, verse 5, and I saw until that 23 had undertaken the pasturing and completed in their several periods 58 times. So basically, you remember he said, Enoch said there would be shepherds, the sheep would be blinded. What he meant is during the reign of the 23 puppet shepherds or foreign rulers, Enoch described the destruction among the lost sheep of Israel, as well as the building and destruction of the first and second temple in Jerusalem. Enoch also foretold that blinded by ignorance of God's will, many of the 12 tribes of Israel would be scattered abroad and would become the victim of many enemies during the times of the two temples, which actually happened. And some of the foreign rulers are these. The Persian period with Cyrus the Great, and the Hellenistic period 332 BC to 167 BC with Alexander the Great, Macedonian Greece. These are all the empires that took over the promised lands of Israel. The Ptolemaic period, that's Egypt, ruled over the promised land from 305 BC to 198 BC. And then you got the really evil king Antiochus of Epiphanes. He was Syrian, from 198 BC to 167 BC. And you got the Roman Emperor era taken over with the Herod's dynasty, which culminated in the destruction of Israel in 70 CE. And he goes on to say, finally, all after the vision of the rulers, which totaled 58. This is getting interesting. Enoch foresaw that 12 more shepherds, because 58, because he said 70 shepherds till judgment comes on Israel. And, the Messiah will come, but I believe the antichrist. This is it. So 58 add 12, that makes 70, so there's 12 more with a rise to govern over Israel. Sadly, however, Enoch says that this final group of 12 will do more damage spiritually than all the other 58 knotheads before them. And that's what this person said. And I saw, and right, so basically 58 shepherds or rulers, Israelites and foreign rulers, You got 35 Israelite kings, mainly good, mainly bad, and some good. 23 foreign rulers after that, so that's 58 in all. Then in 70 CE, we know what happens. Rome destroyed, Jerusalem under General Titus, 70 CE, and after 2,000 years of diaspora, Israelites scattered, and only in 1948, with the creation of Israel again, in 1948, so the last 12 shepherds will begin from 1948, and you wouldn't believe this, Netanyahu, who's currently Prime Minister of Israel, is the very final shepherd. And I'll give you an example of who they were from the first 12 Prime Ministers since 1948. David Ben-Gurion, that's the first. Moshe Sheretz, 2. 3 is Levi Eshkol. 4 is Golda Meir. 5 Yitzhak Rabin. 6 is Menachem Begin. 7 is Yitzhak Shamir. 8 Shimon Peres. 9 is Ehud Barak. 10 is Ariel Sharon. 11 is Ehud Olmert. And number 12 is, guess what, Benjamin Netanyahu, who supports, unfortunately, the two-state solution with the condition of recognition of Israel's right to exist. So all these leaders have made, it goes on to say, Christian Forum, have made unforgivable concessions to Israel, sworn enemies since its inception in 1948. Worst of all has lain with the biggest harlot of all time, Babylon. They said the US of America. So would you believe it? So it's basically four of the prime ministers since 1948 have had 2 consecutive terms. But can you believe it? Netanyahu has just won an historic 5th term. Can you believe that? He just recently won his beginning of the 1st term. He just won election lately on the 9th of April 2019. That makes him the longest serving Prime Minister. Historic 5 terms, where all the other, there was 4 that had 2 consecutive two terms, but he is the most. And I believe, as Enoch shows, he said after 70 70 shepherds, judgment will come. And basically he says, Enoch says, for us to, as the Lord of the sheep, will come. I believe judgment is going to come very soon, because Netanyahu, is the last 12, and they say that the Messiah will come after the 12th shepherd. After the 12th shepherd goes, and some judgment will come, and I believe the antichrist will come. That's what I believe. And so, according to Enoch, all these 70 shepherds or kings or rulers of Egypt, 58 in the past and 12 now, they're all going to be consigned to hell, or judgment. because none of which have followed and obeyed God, or obeyed him or followed him. Instead of obeying him, they went their own way, disobeying and breaking his commandments, and sinned in his eyes. What an interesting, that was a very interesting, prophecy. That's why I had to share it with people. 70 shepherds, and if that's correct, Netanyahu is the last, and after that judgment will come on Israel and the world. And either they want to remove him, just like Trump. They want to, I think only lately, or just before the end of last year, they implicated Netanyahu. They want to remove him because of corruption and bribery charges. Just seems the same like Netanyahu. I mean, just like Trump, they want to get rid of Netanyahu. But I believe because of this peace deal, I got a feeling it's something to do with this peace deal. It will be linking with this prophecy, because Trump's peace deal, and if Netanyahu agrees to split in Israel, then judgment comes, and soon after Netanyahu, the antichrist appears. What do you call it? So what should we do? Because if judgment is just around the corner, we need to repent. And as what do you call it? Jude. Remember, Jude said, God, Yahweh, look, Yahweh will come with his holy myriads, that is, angelic beings, to execute judgment against all, and to convict all the ungodly concerning all their ungodly deeds that they did in an ungodly way, and concerning all the shocking things that ungodly sinners spoke against him. So soon God's going to bring judgment on Israel, because they want to do their own thing and not rely on God as king, and his son Yeshua Mashiach, who was rejected by Israel. That's another reason, he's going to come to bring judgment, especially if they agree with splitting the land with America. They've already split they've already given a lot of the land away, Jordan, which was to the Jordanians, which was really part of the promised land. So this is in let's see, 34, verse 34, Luke 21. But pay attention to yourselves, that your hearts never become weighed down with overeating and heavy drinking and anxieties of life. Just like before the flood, they were not taking any notice. They were just concentrating on their worries of life. And suddenly, that day be instantly upon you, that is judgment, as a snare, for it will come in upon all those dwelling upon the face of the earth. So keep awake then all the time, making supplication that you may succeed in escaping all these things that are destined to occur, and in standing before the Son of Man. So yes, pray and repent that that you can escape these things that are destined to occur exactly as it is. I believe this 70 shepherds prophecy is linked to the dividing of Israel. He's going to be the last ruler, and after that judgment will come. It says there, don't concern yourself about worries, but keep awake and pray, because it says here, that day will come instantly upon you. That is, the judgment will just come. That's why I'm warning beforehand. It was just like the captain of the Titanic, you know. He was warned many times. He was warned that there would be icebergs ahead. You know, just like the iceberg represents judgment ahead. But he took no notice. You know, he just carried on speeding along, and when the iceberg was there, it was too late. It had come. Just like that, suddenly, like judgment comes. And he tried his best to swerve out of the way, but it damaged his ship, and there was a lot of life because it sank. So, you know, when judgment comes, it will be suddenly. So don't, don't scoff at the warnings. You know, don't take no notice of, the warnings, like the captain of the Titanic, and perish, because they all, most of them did in the Titanic. But heed the warnings and repent now and survive what's to come. And it's all these prophecies and all the signs around the world are showing that the judgment is very near. Anyway, I hope you enjoy this little prophecy there, and God bless. I will leave a link to a video that me and my brother did, which is similar, is linked in a way to 70 shepherds with Kaduri prediction about election stalemate before the so-called Messiah comes. I believe the antichrist. Anyway, God bless and thank you very much. Bye.